Hey fam, it's your man Dante The DarkKnight, and welcome to Eagles Talk. Finally, football is back upon us, and we are back with you guys to bring you this upcoming exciting season. What I see is going to be an exciting season for our Philadelphia Eagles. We have toiled, we have gone through the preseason, which I feel we won again. We won the offseason. And we've gone through the preseason, haven't seen much of the starters in that preseason, but I'm still encouraged. And we're back. Finally, we're back before you, and we're back to watching meaningful football. It was grueling going through the preseason and having to watch the backups. But, you know, I mean, it's exciting because we haven't seen football in so long that we long to see any kind of football. So I guess the preseason is okay, but it doesn't beat anything that's about to happen on Sunday when we take on the Washington Redskins down in D.C. Yes, the Washington Redskins have beaten us 5 times, and I say we're going to win just because of a law of averages. But anyway, you guys, we're back. You like the new set? We have a new set, and I know I told you in the promo that although our set is nice and it looks corporate, that I'm not going to succumb to that corporate look. But just for this premiere episode, I thought I'd dress up just a little bit. Besides that, I belong to an organization that they would just cream me if I didn't represent them well, at least this first time in this premiere episode. So I've done it for my brothers. Without further, all right, let me get to this too before I bring on my partners in crime here. We had a logo contest, and later on in this program, we'll be announcing the winner of our Pick the Logo contest, and the Eagles Talk logo is beautiful, as I think it is anyway. And I think you guys like it too because you guys helped pick it. A majority of you guys helped put this thing together, and we'll announce the winner and show the t-shirt that they'll be receiving a little later on. So finally, again, football is upon us. Washington Redskins up next. So let me bring in my partners in crime, but only one is with me at the present moment. And that is, we have the Sandlin brothers. And right now we have Patrick Sandlin with us. We're just waiting for Shelmon to show up. But Pat, you're out there, man. Welcome. How was your off season? Did you get some rest?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was just too hyped about the season coming up this year.
And so, tell me, Pat. I am, I'm not a fan of winning the off season. Although I think we've done it again 2 years in a row. And my biggest gripe is that I'm tired of winning the preseason and not having anything to show for it at the end of the regular season. So let me know, Pat, is this the time where finally winning the off season is going to translate to more regular season wins and then ultimately a playoff berth? Do I have that to look forward to this year? Tell me what you think.
Well, we do have the talent to go that far, but the chemistry is still something that they're developing right now. I believe with the offensive line and new running backs, we have to build a chemistry there. They didn't get enough time in the preseason to develop that chemistry, but I believe with the practices that they'll be ready for week 1 against the Redskins.
Pat, all right, Pat. You sometimes let me down. That's not the answer I was looking for. Let me just say that was not the answer I was looking for. I'm looking for, and this is the way I feel. And you know, I'm just me. I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I know I cover the Eagles, but I'm a homer. I'm a fan, just like the people that are watching us right now. I'm a fan, and that's not what I wanted to hear, Pat. I wanted to hear that Howie has constructed this roster to be able to compete and ultimately earn a spot in this year's playoffs. That's what I want to hear, Pat. That's what. Please let me know. I understand about the chemistry. I do. I really do. I understand that we have only seen our starters for less than 2 quarters in the entire preseason, and I understand that you want to kind of preserve your players, but this nonsense of wrapping your players in bubble wrap doesn't help them to get ready for the season. So I feel like the first month of the season, they're still getting in game shape, or they're still working their way into game conditioning. They haven't even played 2 quarters together in the preseason. Forget the practices. Not that they don't mean anything, but I don't think that you can fully simulate game speed in practice. So they're going to need like the first month. I understand that, but you can't tell me by October that we can't get on the same page and make a playoff run. Pat, what do you think?
Well, the playoff run doesn't start when the season starts. Because you can win the first 4 games and look great, and after that, you could be 4-12. How is put the pieces for a good team in place? Yeah, we did see a lot of players during our players during the preseason, and yes, we did bubble wrap them. But the preseason is more or less made for undrafted rookie free agents, and rookies. It's not necessary for starters, because you look at the major injuries that happened this year in the preseason. Yeah, injuries are part of the game, but at the same time, we can't afford to go into the season with any major injuries. Which thankfully we don't have any major injuries besides Sidney Jones, who already had a previous injury. With the quarters that we've been in there, that we've been connecting, we look pretty good. Carson looks pretty sharp. He has few things he had to work out, but I believe they'll be ready, 100% ready for this game coming on Sunday.
All right. So let's get to this. First of all, I'm very disappointed in our other co-host who's not here right now. And it's funny, and I got to share this before we go on with the football, but he was just here. We were doing the pre-game. We were doing the pre-show warm-up, and we were just talking to him, and I think he fell asleep. I really do. Pat denies it, but I think he fell asleep. I heard some snoring. So when he wakes up, my guy on the board, I'm going to hopefully we'll bring him in. But it's funny that he was just on here and now he's not here. All right, so going into this game, there's a couple things. Number one, so let's go back to, do you think that he's retooled this team enough for us to make that playoff run? All right, let's review this. We have Alshon Jeffrey. These are some of the additions we've made in the offseason. Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith. What else? I'm trying to think of any. Blunt, LeGarrette Blunt, and defense Chris Long. We made a late preseason move, or a middle preseason move, for Ron Darby from Buffalo. Another defense addition. We picked up in the draft Derek Barnett, Rasul Douglas, Sidney Jones, who's not going to play immediately. That's just a few of the names that we've gotten, that he's used to retool this team. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think that's a lot, and I think that it's going to make significant difference. Oh, I forgot my man Jernigan too, because I really look forward to seeing him and Fletcher Cox wreak havoc on that defensive line. So I think we made some great additions in the offseason. I'm looking for them to translate into more wins, but it all starts this week, and we go up against the Washington Redskins. We have not beat them in the previous 5 games that we played them. As a matter of fact, their quarterback Kirk Cousins looks like Joe Montana when he plays us. Pat, what the hell is this about? I say we're going to win just merely on the law of averages. They can't beat us all the time. So that's where I'm at. But no, seriously, I think that we have the talent to beat them. But this is 5 times. I'm tired of seeing this. I understand last year that we didn't have we weren't full strength on our offensive line. Our best offensive lineman, Lane Johnson, was out for both of those games. So I'm hoping that was the difference there. What do you think about our chances of beating Washington this week, Pat? Pat?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Our chances of beating Washington is doubled. When basically when they let go of Deshaun Jackson, um, that was the main reason why Kirk Cousins looks so great against us. We didn't have a corner matchup against him at all.
All right.
When you have speed and another team doesn't have speed to match up, 9 times out of 10, the team with speed will win. Right now, we're even across the board, and when we go even across the board, we have more talent than Washington does. Um, they added a good receiver in Terrell Pryor, who actually is a quarterback turned receiver. But at 6'5" and 230, I mean, he runs like a deer. But at the same time, he's still new to the position as a receiver. So there's an advantage for us. Also, with our additions, Alshon Jeffries, Torrey Smith, Timmy Jernigan, and Ronald Darby, Chris Long, and the rookies we added, on paper, yes, we boast a better team, period. There's no question about that. Own Josh Norman. He has owned Josh Norman, and there are 2 or 3 meetings he has owned him. Torrey Smith, he needed to get away from San Francisco. He needed to get away from San Francisco. Our receivers are so good this year that we were able to trade one of our better receivers from last year to bolster the defensive front with the addition of Ronald Darby. He's a speedy corner. Might not have any hands, but I'll take him knocking every single pass that comes his way than not being in a position to make the play.
Right.
That being said, we bolster a better roster, complete roster than the Washington has at this particular point. And I believe with that,
All right, I just wanted to say, I was reading the article by Adrian Fedkoff from the PhillyInfluencer.com, and he points out that he believes that Alshon Jeffrey is going to have his way with Josh Norman, just based on past games and past experiences. Josh Norman does not dominate Alshon Jeffrey, and he says that he runs 3 of the strongest routes of Alshon Jeffries are 3 routes that Josh Norman's have trouble with. So I like to hear that. I like to hear that. He's actually caught, I guess, 90-something yards on him last year. So that's in our favor right there, and that's a matchup that we'll be definitely looking at tomorrow. Our receivers versus Josh Norman, being one that he's supposed to be one of the top cornerbacks out there. We finally have a receiving core that I think can stand up and go up against any of the D-back tandems in the league, and we're going to get a test here this Sunday, our first test, and we're going to finally see our new toys unwrapped and see what Carlson is able to do with these new weapons. So what do you think about that assessment, and do you agree that you're looking for Alshon Jeffrey to win the battle versus Josh Norman? Hello, Pat? Switchboard, do you see Patrick still connected? No? All right, so well, I guess we have to wait till our Patrick. So check the screen and make sure when he comes back in, when he shows back up. All right, so I think after reading this article, I think that Adrian is right on the mark with this. I can't wait to see that matchup. I think that we saw a brief glimpse of the potential of our wideouts, our new wideouts, and in that 3rd preseason game. All right, putting you back on then. Although we used to get a longer dress rehearsal in years past, but this new pansy NFL now, the dress rehearsal was only a little over a quarter. I remember there was a time when the starters would play the whole first half, and now they just played a little over a quarter. But that was the most that we got to see of our new wide receiver tandem. And Torrey Smith caught a long pass for a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey caught a slant for a touchdown. And that was just, to me, a glimpse of what can come and what we can expect this year. So I was excited about that. Pat, are you back with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. All right, Pat. So when you dropped off, I was saying that I was reading an article by Adrian Fedkoff from PhillyInfluencer.com, stating that he expects Alshon Jeffrey to have his way with Josh Norman, as he's put it, because of these three routes that he runs particularly well, and they are the three routes that Josh Norman has extreme trouble with. What do you think about that matchup, and who you think will win that battle between Josh Norman and Alshon Jeffrey?
Well, I'm gonna go on record and state that Alshon Jeffrey definitely will win that battle. It will be a good battle to watch on Sunday. Josh Norman is a very physical corner, but at the same time, when you have a receiver with the hands as Jeffrey that can pluck a ball out the air, it doesn't matter how good of a corner you are. I believe that statement is true. Because he goes for the jump ball on the deep routes. On a post route, he's very quick with his hands to get the ball, to catch the ball and bring it in, so D-back doesn't have the opportunity to knock it out. And he uses his body well. So that's what that hinders Josh Norman when he goes against a receiver that can use his body against him.
All right. Well, then I'm looking forward, and we'll look forward to that. Another thing that we talked about is that, and I talked about a little bit in the opening, is that our best offensive lineman was absent in those two losses to Washington last year, Lane Johnson. But he's clean now. He's back. And I think that's going to make a big difference. I don't mean to lob a bomb there, but let's be the. I have to call a spade a spade. I mean, he was not here last year, and that was a big problem, as you can see. When he was there, we won. Carson Wentz won games. When he was not there, we did not win. So I'm thankful that Lane has kept himself clean in this offseason, and that we can expect to see him all year, barring injury. We need you, Lane. We need you. So that being said, I don't expect to see Ryan Kerrigan just running free to my quarterback anymore tomorrow when this game goes on, because the first game was Big V and he was looking like a turnstile out there. I like the guy. He came along. He improved vastly as the season went on, but that first game was ugly, and Ryan Kerrigan, he wreaked havoc in both of those games, actually. And they were games that were played without Lane Johnson. So I think that we're going to bode well just because, or one of the biggest reasons why we're going to win tomorrow is that we have our best offensive lineman back in the fold. Another thing I'm eager to see is our defense. I say, and I said this last year, I made the bold prediction in our first episode that we would be a top 10 defense, and we fell just short, but we were a top 15 defense. And I'm saying it now, we're going to be a top 10 defense this year for sure. And one of those people that's going to catapult us up into the top 10, I believe, is going to be our rookie defensive end, Derek Barnett. This guy, I was just reading an article by Jeff McLean from Philly.com, and he just was breaking down the fact that, and everybody talks about this, his bend. They talk about his bend, and he has an excellent bend for a defensive end. And I might have to admit, I didn't know what a bend was. I mean, I saw the lean, like you come around the side and you be leaning. I guess that was the bend. But the bend had more to do with, thank you, Jeffrey, for pointing this out, had more to do with his ankle. Like the angle that he can bend and still have his foot planted flat. And when the flex that he gets in his ankle. So that's what contributes to this this outstanding bend of his for a defensive end, and they talk about that his bend is advanced for a rookie. So I'm looking forward to him having a big season and having an impact in this game tomorrow. What do you think about the defense, and what are they going to do, or what do they need to do to stop Kirk Cousins from looking like Joe Montana when he plays us?
Well, the first thing they need is to stop putting pressure on the quarterback. He needs to be pressured every single time he drops back to pass. In the previous matchups, when he had time back there, he picks us apart. Period. Mm-hmm. But we boasted a defensive line. You know, Derek Barnett, Chris Long, and can't forget Brandon Graham. You know, and Timmy Jernigan. So we have a defensive line that's much better and much improved from last year than to this year.
We got some beasts out there. We got some hungry animals on the defensive line. That's what we got. I can't wait to see him wreak havoc.
Yeah. We have to get the pressure on him. I mean, I think a surprise part of our defense is going to be actually our cornerbacks. Because we already know about the speed of Darby. But now we're going to see the covering skills for our next starting quarterback, which is going to be Jalen Mills. I believe it's going to be a big step for him to be much improved this year than it was last year. And I think he's going to show us something this year that he's ready to be, you know, the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles for the Longhorns.
Wow, that's surprising. That's surprising because going into camp, that was the biggest, that was the position with the biggest question mark and probably the weakest position going into training camp. And it's surprising that coming out of training camp, it has changed dramatically with the addition of Darby, and not only Darby, but a late addition of the McDougal. Now he's not a standout player as of yet, but he's seems to be an upgrade over some of the people that were down on the depth chart. So I think you're right, Pat. I think our defensive backs have been improved, and I think that's an area, and we were going to watch this anyway, but it's definitely an area or a position that we'll have our eye on tomorrow, which we need to because we have to stop Kirk Cousins. And those are the two things, getting pressure on Kirk and then good coverage with our receivers. And we finally have, good coverage on their receivers. And we finally have a D-back now that can match up with number ones. And we didn't have that in years past. I would say we haven't had a star quality cornerback since Asante Samuel. What would you agree? Asante's been the last one that we've had.
Wow.
And it's been
going back a little bit.
That goes back, but have our secondary not sucked since he's gone? When have they not sucked? They have sucked for the last, at least 4 or 5 years. So
I think it's longer than that.
Yeah, maybe. You might be right about that. It might be longer than that. And so I'm looking forward to finally having a D-back core that's going to be formidable and give us a chance to win some games. Good grief. Kirk Cousins, I'm not taking anything away from Kirk. Kurt has earned those one-year deals that he's gotten. They don't believe in him. They won't give him a long-term contract. They keep telling him to come back and prove it again, and he's done it 2 years in a row. I'm not knocking the guy, but darn it, he looks like Joe Montana when he plays us. I think we helped him earn those franchise tags because I don't know what his stats look like versus the rest of the league, but when he comes in to play us, we definitely lift his averages up. So, Kurt, you owe us a check. Cut us a check for contributing to you getting these franchise tags. With all the seriousness, I don't want to see that tomorrow. I do not. I know it's going to be a tough game, but we definitely have got to put something together here, Pat, because if you've seen the Kansas City Chiefs, which is our Week 2 opponent, that is a tough game. Our whole schedule is tough. It's not a walkthrough. I think we have a chance to make the playoffs, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. Kansas City laid the smackdown on the New England Patriots, and they look very good in doing it. And so we need this win because it's going to be an even tougher road to have to go to Kansas City and beat them after they've had a long rest like they have. So this is almost, I know it's unprecedented that you would use this term on the first week of the season, but I'm already seeing this as a must win. We got to win this game because we cannot go 0-2. And to be realistic, I think our chances are dim of going into Kansas City and beating them. So we definitely need this win. And I'm a homer, but I saw what Andy did, and the young guy looked spectacular, but I'm not going to talk on that too much. We'll save that for next week's show when we preview that one. Sunday, keys to winning to me, Carson Wentz. He's going to be the key to our whole season. Carson Wentz and utilizing the new weapons that he's gotten. Sproles, we've got to see. I think one of the things that's a weak point, and it wasn't going into training camp, so to speak, but it seems to be on the way out of training camp, is our running back position. We have 5 running backs. That's the biggest question mark to me. So I think a key is establishing a run game to take some of the pressure off of Wentz, but allowing him to use his talents and his new weapons. We've got to see some down. We got to see some down the field pass plays to open it up. We haven't had that in a while. We didn't have that at all last year, except for Triggs, and so now we have a burner in Torrey Smith. So let's see what Dougie P does in his second year. We need to see that maturation of our head coach in play calling and decision making, in-game decision making. We need to see maturity and a next step up from our sophomore quarterback. And definitely always, I think the defense is going to have to hold it down for us until these things kind of meet or marry and come together. What do you think about tomorrow and the chances of us winning?
Well, again, I'll go back to the first conversation. I said we definitely have a great chance to win tomorrow. It does hinder on our quarterback play, and it also hinders on a head coach. But it also hinders on our defensive coach. He has to be smart. He can't just, when he realizes he's not getting pressure, if we don't get pressure on our front four, he has to send the blitz. You can't just be stubborn in your ways.
Right.
I believe that we need to establish a run game. Run game opens up so much in the passing attack that, if you have the threat of a running back getting 4 or 5 yards on first or second down, that alone brings these linebackers and these safeties up just on a play action, just because of that threat. Mm-hmm. We have to establish the run game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He can't go into this game throwing 50 times in this game. If he does that, it's a strong chance he might not pull this one out.
We can't do that. We can't. He cannot pass the ball as much as he did last year at all. I mean, come on now. This is what's a young quarterback's best friend? A running game and a good defense, right? That's the best. That's a young quarterback's biggest friend is a running game and a good defense. Ball control. Come on, he cannot pass as many times as he did last year. That means that I think things are out of whack. If he's got to drop back that many times, I think our offense is out of balance. So I don't want to see that. All right, okay. Give me your prediction, and so I can get to announce this winner. Give me your score. Give me your prediction. Technical person. Technical person. Could you see how much time? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I believe we're going to win this one going away. It's going to be a no-brainer. And I believe the defense is going to do what they do and shut Kirk Cousins down. I believe we're going 34-6.
What? Okay. All right. So, I'm sorry, Pat. I think we're going to pull out a win too. You know me in numbers. I can't give you numbers, but I think, as always, I think that the Philadelphia Eagles will have more points than the Washington Redskins, and we will come out victorious. And that's the way I call it. You know, that's the way I've always called it. All right, so this is the end of our first show. We thank everybody. We ask that you come and go to our Facebook page, Eagles Talk on Facebook. Like the page, tell your friends about it, tell them to like the page. Go to our channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Eagles Talk on there also. Pat, you're coming down. Shelmon disappeared on us today, but we're going to do a post-game live show from a buddy's NFL kickoff cookout. We're going to be coming live from them on Sunday for post-game. So you guys make sure you tune in, and we'll be live going over our victory over the Washington Redskins. So make sure you follow us, subscribe so you can see this post-game live and see how we celebrate over the first victory of the year. But without further ado, let me just announce the winner of the logo contest, and that winner is Chad Weichert. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Chad Weichert. I think he's an admin in one of the Facebook groups. Bird Gang Bangers, I forget. But Chad Weichert, you have won our T-shirt, and here it is. Let me unveil this. Here's the T-shirt right here. Eagles Talk. Now I got this is mine, personal, mine, because I got the number on the back. You know what I mean? So this is mine. You can't have this one, Chad. We'll get you one for yourself. But this is nice, right? This is nice. All right. So Chad, you'll get one of these. We'll contact you, get your information to get it out to you. So for me and Patrick Sandlin, and for Shelmon Sandlin in his absence, we like to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, we're going to get these guys, we're going to have these guys visible. I'm trying to get these guys via Skype on here because the studio, we're kind of a little separated. So studio's a little far away. But I'm going to get you guys on Skype because I want you guys to get some FaceTime too. So I don't have to just, because sometimes I'm just sitting here like, and I'm listening. I got to nod, act like I'm interested in what they're saying, which I am. But all right, we're going to get these guys some FaceTime. So I hope you like the new set, man. Don't forget, tune in on Sunday, and we'll be live post-game going over the game. So I'm your man, Dante the Dark Knight. I'm out. Patrick's out, too. We out. Peace.